Hi everyone, I'm Big Man Tyrone, your life coach, motivator, and channel host. Have you ever wondered why in life some people get everything they want so easily, while others struggle to get the bare necessities of life? Now, what if I told you that everything you want and desire is within reach and that you can actually achieve it within 48 hours? Hold that thought for a moment because I've got someone special with me today. Her name is Pam Grout. Pam is a #1 New York Times best-selling author, journalist, world traveler, life coach, and visionary. As we often say, she's the full 9 yards. When I first read Pam's book, E Squared, 9 Do-It-Yourself Energy Experiments that prove your thoughts create your reality, I was stunned how easily she demonstrates with 9 experiments that you can literally think anything into being. I've gone on to use Pam's techniques to manifest some really cool things into my life, and I thought I should share this information with all my fans around the world. Now, I don't know what you want out of life, but it is time you got that job you wanted. It is time you get that holiday you crave. It is time you get that contract that has taken ages. It is time you get that partner you long for. Pam Grout is here with me tonight, so to speak, to help us achieve all these things and more. And I'm so excited to welcome her to the show tonight. Pam, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you. That was a great introduction. Thank you so much for that.
You're welcome. I know I already introduced you, Pam, but tell us a bit more about yourself in your own words.
Yeah, well, I'm an author first and foremost. I've been a writer for many, many years. I was one of those kids that grew up reading lots of books and always loved to express myself through writing. And so I've written a lot of travel books. I've written 3 books for National Geographic. But I kind of was thinking about how did I actually make all this happen, because I have this pretty amazing life. I get to travel all over the world. And I realized that I had used these principles that I talk about in this book, about intention, about putting myself on a frequency where this universe can bless you, interact with you, and work with you. And so anyway, I realized, this is an important information like you were just saying, and everybody needs to know about this. So I decided it was time to write the book. And there are a lot of books about this topic out there, but the thing that makes this book so different is I really do put it in these concrete experiments. I set it up with lab report sheets, and people are encouraged to actually give it a try. Don't just think about it. Don't just theorize about it. Let's put these principles into practice. So I guess that's a little bit about how I came to write the book, but basically who I am, I guess, as a writer. I'm a person who sits around in my pajamas at home writing material that people seem to enjoy. So, but I'm a writer, I'm a travel writer, and then I do have to get out of my pajamas when I go out and travel. So anyway, but so I've been a creative person and done a lot of different things over my life.
You say in your book, E Squared, that we are connected to all things and all men in the universe. Please elucidate.
Yeah, there's a big quantum playground. Einstein talked about everything is energy, and we're all part of this one big field. So we can't really see it because we've cemented in like this material reality, but in truth, we are all energy. I mean, that's who we really are. So via being energy, we are connected to literally everything. In fact, people talk a lot about manifesting what you want into your life. The truth is you're already connected to every single thing, but you animate into your life whatever you put your attention upon. So if you put a lot of attention upon how things don't work out and how difficult life is and whatnot, you're going to create that reality. You're going to animate that particular part of this moving energy, this moving field into your life. If, on the other hand, you focus upon how beautiful life is and how much you're grateful for everything, you will animate that reality into your life. And so literally this works so well that you can, make intentions, and as long as you don't start trying to figure it all out and, put what you already know upon it, the universe will, of course, bring it into your reality.
I really love the Dude Abides principle where you state that all it takes for us to manifest a desire is to focus on the field of potentiality. Could you please tell us more about this, Pam? Tell us more about this field of potentiality and how it manifests things on our behalf.
Okay, so this, like I said, we are connected to this field, this big quantum field. And so again, we draw into our life whatever we focus upon. We animate into our particular material reality whatever we're focusing upon. So when you change your focus, you actually change what you see in the material world. Again, we're all connected to this big metaphysical world or this spiritual world or this bigger field, the quantum field that Einstein, well, he didn't call it the quantum field, but he started the whole thing where we realize that we are just one big field. In fact, there was just recently a remarkable discovery about black matter that totally confirms everything Einstein had said back when he, 100 years ago, came up with this theory. But so we're in this big quantum field, and then how we manifest into our life is that whatever we put our attention upon, that comes into our life. So if, say, you want to manifest a new car, for example, let's just pick something concrete. If you focus on that, make that intention, first of all, you'll notice you start seeing that car everywhere. And then if you continue to focus on that without putting up blocks, without putting up beliefs that, oh, I can't afford that, or whatever blocks that we humans tend to come up with, whatever we've manifested in the past, if we can completely let go of all that and just hang on to this other intention and get excited about that, we will eventually see that in our own material reality.
Now, can I just push that, a little bit further, Pam? Because, the world is made of, rational minds. People tend to be too rational. And when you say, for instance, that somebody can manifest a new car, the very first thing that springs to mind is, oh, hold on a minute, Pam. I would like to get an Audi Q7 now. Cost is £49,000, $57,000. Maybe I need to get a car finance. Maybe I need to be doing a job that pays me more. Maybe I need to win the lottery. How is it possible to, remove all these blocks and not rationalize it as a way of actually getting it through the quantum field, through the field of potentiality?
No, that's such a good question, because that's exactly what we do. And so for me, I believe that once you get on a particular frequency, and that is the frequency of joy, when you get on that frequency, then those blocks disappear. And so that's what's really important, is to start thinking about all the things you're grateful for. And then once you get on that particular frequency, it's just like you cannot watch, well, in the U.S. we've got ABC. You can't watch ABC if you're tuned into CBS. Or like, I guess in where you are, you can't watch BBC if you're tuned into channel A or what are the other channels. You have to be on the channel. You have to be tuned into the channel of what you want. And so in order to, all those blocks that we all have, because we do all have those resistors, those beliefs that would block all our good from coming to us. And so as we start becoming more grateful, those blocks disappear and we get on that frequency where literally you can snap your fingers and make things happen. But because we do have a lot of blocks, going straight into it sometimes doesn't work. So it's good to first get into that feeling state of feeling happy, of feeling grateful, and then make your request, and then things start happening really quickly. I don't know if that exactly answers your question.
It does.
But I think
it does.
Yeah, so that's a really good tip. As we get on a higher frequency, in a happier place, then these things that we're wanting to manifest start happening a lot faster.
Now, in your own case, Pam, how do you overcome distractions? Because I know lack of focus, distraction, doubt, self-doubt, lack of self-esteem, all these come in a way. Now, in your own particular case, say you want to get an intention, which is fairly difficult. How do you bring yourself to actually focus, on that particular goal in such a way that that frequency stays with you until it manifests?
Well, you start focusing on how fun it will be, not on how hard it's going to be to get there. Because, see, that's what happens. We say, oh, I want to manifest this, and then we immediately spring to, oh, but I can't do that, and it never worked for me in the past, and blah, 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 blah. So instead, you have to start getting really excited. You have to get on, again, that frequency. You have to be excited. You have to start thinking about yourself. Say, if, again, to use the car example, driving that car. You see yourself driving that car. You get excited about driving that car. And then miraculous things will happen. Like you used the example before where you start thinking, oh, I need to get another job, or I need to do this, or I need to do that. That gets in the way, because that's you coming up with the with the way to make this happen. What we want to do is turn it over to this universe, to this connection that we already have. And when we get on that frequency where we're not blocking it, then it can come right in. So our biggest job is not to figure, in fact, how. How is not up to me. How is not up to you. Our job is to come up with a what, and then let the universe figure out how to make it happen. I mean, things start happening when you can get into that particular frequency. A book will fall off the shelf that you need to read, a person that you need to meet to help make something happen. You'll bump into them in line at Starbucks. I mean, things just start happening, but you cannot block it by coming up with all the reasons. I mean, in the quantum world, you can go from A to Z. You know, we tend to think you've got to do A, you've got to do B. You know, we think in terms of steps. We think in terms of linearly. But the truth of it is, the more we can surrender to this bigger field, to this miraculous field, and the more we can surrender to it, the happier we get, the more we surrender to it, and that's when things can start happening. So that's why I say get excited, get joyful, and then you can't stop it from coming in.
I'm from a religious background where we have been taught for over 30 years that we serve a greedy God that doesn't want to give us everything. So we have to prod him and beg him and go on long fasts and give fat offerings, if not to him, then to a pastor to intercede on our behalf. Now, what would you say to that, Pam? Do we need to prod the universe? Do we need to prod the field of potentiality to get everything we need?
Well, see, that is such an important point. I'm really glad you brought that up. Because, see, we have been taught all along, you know, we have cultural beliefs, we have religious beliefs, that this force that loves us so much has to be coaxed to the table. We've been taught that, you know, we're miserable sinners and that we have to do all these things. The fact is, this force loves us so much and wants to interact with us. It wants to bless us. And I like to think of it more in terms of electricity. You know, we don't stand over our toaster. You know, we know that if we plug our toaster into the wall socket, that we could brown our bagels. So we need to think of this force more like we think of electricity. We don't stand over the toaster and say, please, please, brown my bagel. You know, we know that if we plug it in, it's going to work. We know that if we plug our cell phones in at night, they're going to be recharged the next day. Mm-hmm. So it is so important to really think of this field, this, whatever you want to call it, the source, God, whatever you want to call it, as a kind force, as a force that we're already connected to, that loves us, that wants to interact with us. So we really have to rewrite that, because that idea that it's hard and there's lots of things we have to do is one of the biggest stumbling blocks. We have to get over that. I like to say that the word hard is the most dangerous four-letter word in the English language, because, you know, we all think, oh, it's going to be hard and we have to work, you know, we have to work so hard and we have to try and do all this stuff. Well, as long as we believe that, again, everything constellates around our thoughts, then we will make it hard. But we can also do it with a way of ease and grace. That's also possible. And that's the way I prefer to do it. And that's the way the universe works best.
Marvelous. Now, you said something about this, you know, manifestation, when you start thinking about something and all these things start popping up around you. This, you know, serendipitous, things, you know, as it were. I'd just like to share something, Pam. After I read your book, I decided to manifest something small. And I said, okay, hold on. I'm going to test Pam's principles and see if they really work. So I have this tie, which I really love. It's a wonderful silk tie, and it's got quite unique colors, so I can use it with most of my shirts. So I just said to myself, well, I'd like to manifest a second one, and, the exact same tie, same make, same color, everything. And guess what? 48 hours after that, I got the exact same tie on an internet website. I mean, the exact same tie. Like somebody just put it there for me.
Yeah, and and it's funny because I have what I call my power posse, people that I get together with every week, and we talk about these principles. So I think it's important to have a group of people that you can discuss this with. And what we would say when we hear that story, we go, well, duh. It's like, yeah, of course. Because every day, it's really cool. I open up my inbox, and I get these stories from people, and they usually start with something like, you are never going to believe this. And because I think people, it's like, why are we surprised? This is the natural state of the world. So anyway, that, getting that tie is just a natural, normal thing because you made that intention and you let down the blocks that would say, well, that's impossible, I'll never find it. You let it be. You suspended your judgment long enough, and of course the universe is going to provide. So that's a really cool story. So thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome. Now, let's just talk about gratitude here for a moment, Pam, as it relates to the field of potentiality. Now, I was taught that this field is supposed to be animate. It's an animate field. It's a being that you can reverence, that you can thank. But the quantum physicist viewpoint is that this is an inanimate field. It's just there and it's neutral. Now, for you, Pam, specifically, how do you express gratitude to something that is inanimate rather than animate?
Well, I just believe in expressing gratitude in everything, in every thought, in every feeling, but I also have a couple practices that I use to make sure gratitude is my state. For one thing, every morning, I have a group of 5 friends, and we text each other blessings or gratitudes from the day before. And rather than just regurgitating the same old gratitudes, I've always said, oh, I love my career, I love my daughter, I love, so many things. But every day it has to be something different. So I'm, on the hook with my gratitude buddies that I have to come up with something new, 3 new things every single day to be grateful for. So I just, I don't know that I'm grateful to any particular inanimate thing. I'm just grateful that I'm alive. When you think about it, all these gifts, we're alive here on this planet at this particular time. It's really exciting. What are the odds that we would be here in this particular, planet with, just the right of everything happening? Water, free liquid falls from the sky. Food grows up from the ground. There's just so much to be grateful for if you stop and think about it. But what happens is we're taught this cultural training. This other thing is that life is really difficult and there's only so much to go around and scarcity is the way it is. So the minute we come into this beautiful planet that wants to bless us, that provides everything we could ever need, we start learning these lessons about scarcity and about how we have to try really hard and, mind your P's and Q's. So we're taught the exact opposite lessons of the natural way of the world. But anyway, so for me, it's not so much of thanking a particular deity, although I, like to call the field God at times. I call this field everything. I don't think the field cares what we call it. I think it just cares that we interact with it. I think it just wants us to call upon it, so to speak. So I don't really, think about who I'm grateful to necessarily. I'm just grateful for everything.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Now, what would you say to anyone listening right now who has something they've been struggling to get, be it money, love, a business opportunity, or even a job, and they just don't seem to get it after several months or several years? What are they doing wrong, Pam? How can you advise them right now?
Okay, well, I like to say 2 things to that particular question. First of all, quit beating yourself up because you're not getting it. In fact, I say the 2 magic words are, it's okay. Whatever's happening, it's okay. Because I think we think, wow, this is supposed to work, it didn't work for me, and we start, again, beating ourselves up. Well, beating ourselves up never works. We have to, again, get on that joy frequency for things to work. So I guess my 2 piece of advice is to just be okay with the way things are, and then just start looking for any teeny tiny little movement in that direction, any little thing to be grateful for, and start putting your attention upon that and not upon the lack or the thing you think you don't have. It just changes everything. It's so so radical and so powerful. So I think people tend to overlook it, but it's so powerful. They think, oh, that's just a simple little thing, but it's not. It changes everything. So just start looking for the tiniest piece of evidence of things to be grateful for, and it will literally change your life. You won't be able to stop the flow as you start noticing.
My goodness. Thanks so much, Pam. I know you are much sought after, and we are privileged to have you come talk to us.
Thank you for having me on. It's a joy to talk to you.
Fantastic.
So guys, no more waiting years to achieve your dreams. Take home Pam's counsel and prosper. Pam's books are available on Amazon, and you can follow the links below this video to purchase them. Now, I've got all her books. I've got 3 here with me today. I read them every day because, guys, this is good stuff. All right? I urge you to get her books E squared, this one, and E cubed, this one, and practice all the experiments that will prove that you can think something and manifest it almost instantly, guys. Now, just don't think about it, manifest it. As always, I'd like to hear all your comments. Leave your comments beneath the video, guys, and let's hear what you have to say about it. Also, raise your concerns. Are you struggling with something you want to manifest? Have you been waiting for something for too long and it's not come to pass? Leave your comments below, guys, and I'll get Pam to answer some for you. Now also leave your comments on Pam's website. You will see the link below and all her social media links at the end of this video. That's it, guys. Now go out and manifest those dreams.